Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quick Shifts channel. My name is Jason and today we're back to talk about our 2022 Jeep Wagoneer Carbide Edition. We're going to tell you about our pros and cons of owning this car over the first just over 1,000 miles that we've put on it. If you guys have been watching our previous videos, you're already familiar with our 2022 Jeep Wagoneer Carbide Edition. It is a Series One car, or truck should I say, and it only has the convenience option on it. So like all our other cars, the first thing we did when we got it was go ahead and do our front window tint so it would match the back windows. That's a necessity as far as we're concerned. Aside from that, we haven't done any mods to this vehicle other than putting a ceramic coating on it, which isn't really a mod, that's just detailing in my opinion, but it's a must-have. It definitely helps with all the dirt that tends to collect on the back of these big SUVs. It certainly makes cleaning up that mess a lot easier. So obviously one of our first big pros to this vehicle is the carbide package, which gives you the black trim, the black wheels, all the black accents around the windows, across the top on the roof rack, and also with the carbide package you get the dual pane sunroof. So this sunroof is amazing. We absolutely love it, and in a vehicle of this size, it really does open it up in here. Of course, I don't have it open right now, but bringing in all the light that it brings in opens up the interior, makes it look much bigger, much more comfortable to sit in. The downside to that though is that it does let a ton of sun in. So if it's sitting in an open parking lot with no coverage, it can start cooking it in here and it gets very hot. Now the remote start certainly helps with that, but you got to remember to do it. So obviously one of the other main features or main things that we love about this vehicle is the size of it. It's so big. You can fit so many things in here and there's so much room for activities. But with that size also comes a con. It doesn't really fit in this garage. And if you look around out, it's kind of windy, and I apologize if you guys hear all that noise from the trees and everything, but you know there's a storm coming in from Florida and it's kicking up the wind around here already, and that's probably going to hit by the time I post this video. Hopefully we don't have any damage from it. I'm not too worried about it being in Greenville, South Carolina. We're kind of far away from it, but they're saying we'll get about 50-mile-per-hour winds, so we'll see what really happens. But the size of this vehicle is one of the key features that we bought it for. Tons of room on the inside for passengers and for carrying things, but again, doesn't really fit in that garage. So another one of the features that we love about this car, or about this truck, is the Hemi 5.7 liter. We know that's a controversial topic for a lot of people. A lot of people say wait for the inline 6 turbo that's coming out. The 5.7 isn't worth it. Get the bigger V8, the Mopar, the Hemi, bigger Hemi. But I gotta say, we purposely wanted the 5.7 liter to have a little bit better efficiency. It's a tried and true motor that's been around forever, and you have no concerns about that power plant. And even with all that being said, you guys have probably heard the more recent videos with the sound of the new inline 6 turbo, and it has virtually no sound, but you've got to love this sound. So let me go ahead and jump in here and start this sucker up so you guys can hear a nice cold start. Now granted, I've got a mic back there at the exhaust, so it's going to be a little louder than normal, but I love it, so you guys got to hear this. Let's go ahead and start this sucker up. I mean, you just cannot beat that sound. It's got such a good sound, that nice rumble of a V8 engine. Let's go ahead and take a ride in this thing. But you know, the Hemi V8, this 5.7 liter has 392 horsepower. It give you guys a couple revs there. So 392 horsepower, 404 torque, and it gets the job done. It's no slouch. It gets this thing moving. You can merge on the freeway. You have no problem with traffic. It's a good engine. All right, guys, so before we hop in here and go for a ride, I do want to let you guys hear this without the mic down at the exhaust tip. So this is just me walking by, cars idling, it's not very noisy at all, especially when you don't have the mic right down there at the exhaust tip. So it is very quiet. It's not loud and obnoxious. It's not like a TRX or something with the muffler cut off. You come up to the front end, hardly any noise, guys. Hardly any noise. Let me put the mic right down here, and all you really hear is the fan. So it's not a noisy thing. I mean, it makes enough grumble, you feel the bass, you can hear that, and you appreciate that, but it's not that noisy. But there are some downsides. This engine isn't perfect. Like I said, 392. The new inline six, I believe, is over 500 horsepower. That's gonna make a big difference for you guys that tow, that are pulling big loads behind it, filling this thing up with bricks to do who knows what in the backyard building. I don't know what you guys do with these things, but that makes a difference. So let's jump on into here and go for a quick drive so I can tell you some more pros and cons. Well, let's go ahead and go for a quick little ride in this. Again, now that you're on the interior, can you hear that engine? Barely. Just a slight rumble coming out of the back, but overall, not much sound. So again, love this setup, love this combination. I'm not hauling big loads or anything like that. I'm more or less hauling me and my family around and maybe some odds and ends in the back. Dogs, cabinets, who knows, furniture, small things, nothing big. But this, I know I'm just going down my street here, but if you guys can tell, the serenity, how quiet it is in here. As you're driving down the road, it's very, very quiet. It takes the bumps very, very well. The luxury element of the Wagoneer brand that you get in this 2022 Jeep Wagoneer Carbide Edition is phenomenal. This thing is just great. It's very, very quiet. When you have a rough day at work, you come out to the vehicle, you take your drive home. That serenity that you get in that nice drive home, you can give it some gas, hear that engine a little bit, it moves plenty enough. It's just such a happy place to be. It makes the right noises when you want it to. It's absolutely quiet when you want it to be. When you're traveling, if you're traveling with your children or with family, you're not bothered by the outside noise. If you want, you can always roll down your window and get more of that. But it's just the comfort that comes with this vehicle, how smooth it is, how well it rides. The silence from the insulation in the vehicle is amazing. The comfort level from the suspension is great. It handles very, very well. And that, you know, it's a big vehicle. And people wonder what it's like to drive a big vehicle. What are the issues and concerns? Well, naturally, the biggest issue that you come up with is parking a vehicle like this. So, you know, if you live in the city or you have a parking garage at work or things of that nature where having a big vehicle is a concern for you, I've got to tell you the convenience package that we got on this is one of our other pros that we like a lot. So it's got the surround sound cameras that come with the convenience package, and that allows you to pull in and out of just about any parking spot you could ever want to do. And it gives you that security of what's around you, that you don't have to worry about banging into anything or double parking or anything like that. It does it so well and gives you such visibility that it takes away all those excuses that you might have had or concerns you might have had. And it just really makes it easy for anyone to drive, park, or maneuver this vehicle around. Again, I highly recommend that convenience package. Make sure you get that surround sound camera system that's in here. I keep saying surround sound. It's surround, just the sound just follows that. I apologize, guys. The surround cameras. But it's definitely a pro that you want to have in here. So again, you know, just cruising around, that quietness, it's so quiet. You know, it's that level of quiet that you expect from a Lexus or Escalade or something like that. In fact, you know, I would argue that this is quieter and better than the Escalade in my opinion, but it's one of the top features for this. And the surround camera is another great feature that I would highly recommend. So, you know, so I'm not driving around doing this. I'm going to go ahead and pull over in a parking lot real quick for you guys. and I will show you the surround cameras on the screen. And you can activate these when you're pulling forward, but obviously when you put the vehicle in reverse, they will come on as well. And this vehicle actually does have the automated parking. We'll save that for another video, later date, because I have yet to try that. And to be honest, I'm a little nervous about letting the vehicle park itself. So I'm gonna have to go test that out on my own. I haven't tested it yet to see how that works. But here we are in the parking lot, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull the camera so I can show you the surround camera and what that looks like. All right, so the surround camera, if you obviously take the vehicle and you put it into reverse, it'll by default pop up here. And what you can see is all around with the surround camera. And you can get the front view. You can also switch to the different views by pressing the button here. And you can zoom in and out with the hitch to see where your hitch is. That's right behind us. But for this demonstration, I'm going to put it into drive. And so you would go to your vehicle setup, and that gives you your headrest drops, so you can drop the headrest down, which they're already dropped down in here. But then you have the surround camera, and we'll go ahead and press that, and that brings it up. So let's say you wanted to pull into a parking spot. Make sure there's no one around us. We're going to pull in right here. And if you watch the surround camera here, you can see how that makes it very easy for you to do. Well, maybe not when you have a camera in your hand. But you can pull right up and it lets you know right where you're at. And if you need to adjust, you can adjust doing that. So again, top feature, love it. I have no cons on this one. I think you should get this. It's worth the extra money. My wife actually fought me on it. She didn't want to spend the money, but now that we have it, she's glad that we do. So again, we'll head on back to the house here, and I do have a couple of negative things to show you guys that we discovered here with the new Jeep Wagoneer that might be isolated to just our vehicle. I'm sure they are, but it's still, you know, I want to be 100% truthful with you guys. Not everything's perfect, and we've had a couple things here. And so we're going to talk about that. But again, wanted to give you guys a different perspective here while we're driving, so you guys can see out the front window. Again, with that Hemi, you know, love the thing. It's great. A lot of great stuff, but 15 miles per gallon. You know, that's hard to swallow. But again, we're doing mostly city driving. 1166 mileage on this, and most of that's been city. And that's what's equated to that 15 mile per gallon average that we're getting. Now, I can tell you from the freeway driving that we have done, it does get much better on the freeway. We had it just over the 20s when we were cruising it the little bit that we did. But again, heavy city is going to outweigh that little bit of freeway driving that you have. Now that we're back to the house, there is another thing I want to mention. So we talked about the ride of the Jeep Wagoneer Carbide, or just, I guess you could say just the Wagoneer. And the ride is great and smooth and it's quiet and all that, but these seats are so comfortable, and they adjust in the right places that you can get it exactly how you want it for those long road trips. And we haven't had many long road trips yet, but we have spent some quality time sitting in these seats, driving around and waiting in traffic and such, that I can tell you that these seats are great. They're a wonderful thing. And that leads me to the one other thing that's open for debate that I would love to hear your comments down below on this. It's a debate in our household anyway, but this steering wheel. I love this steering wheel with the flat edge down here. I think it's great. I know where it's at, and when I'm spinning the car around and turning, I can feel that flat edge. And for me, it's wonderful. I think it's a good thing. But for my wife, she's on the other side of the fence, and she doesn't like it. She is not thrilled with the flat edge, and every time we're driving around, she brings it up and mentions it, how it bothers her, and she's still not used to it. So I'd like to hear your comments. Drop those down below. Tell us what you think of that. But now that we're back, I'm going to go ahead and shut off the car here. Safety first. And I want to get to a couple of the things that we've noticed in our ownership that are questionable and we're not sure what to do. Maybe you guys can give us your opinion on it. So one thing that we noticed right away is this right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it wasn't until I was in here detailing up the dash that I saw this on this pillar. And it looks like whoever did the assembly here just didn't assemble this right. And so I'm curious to go in there and see if I can just squish it down myself and fix this tab. But at the same, it's a flaw. It came that way. We didn't do it. There was no accident or anything like that. It came right from the dealership, you know, right off the truck that way. So that is one thing. And then the other thing is on the wheel. So I'm going to hop out here and we'll walk over to it. And I think it's another assembly thing, probably just unique to this wheel. It's only on the one wheel. See if I can point this out, but some of you guys are probably OCD like me, but oh, luckily it's right here on the top. If you guys can see this, that's actually the paint flaked off of the wheel. And my guess is, based off where it's at, being in a few places here, I have to believe that that was a result of whoever mounted this tire onto the wheel. As you can tell, these edges are raised here. So if we had curved it, it would have caught this edge, not just this inner piece here. And you can really only see it when the wheels face this way. If this section happened to be down here at the bottom, you can't see it from looking down at it. As you can tell, this lip it's really in there. But that's the only two flaws that we've had that we've noticed. Obviously, I've detailed this a couple of times now and gone over it, and there's no chips anywhere. There's no flaws in the paint that I saw anywhere. The mirrors are holding up. It's only been 1,000 miles. I know that's not even broken in. We got to get it another 9,000 miles on here before I can say anything about anything. That's it. Other than that, you know, we filled it up twice, taking 91 octane because it's the 5.7 liter, 15 miles per gallon. That's not the greatest thing, but this is a giant vehicle. And I do have the sunroof open now so you guys can see how that really does let a lot of light in here and lights up the area. But really, you know, we love this thing thus far, and we'll continue to check in with you guys and let you know what's going on, pros and cons of it as we continue to go forward. And if we run into any issues, we'll let you guys know about that. So go ahead, drop a comment down below. Let us know what you'd like to see next. If I missed something in here, or you want some more feedback on something or information, let us know. You know, we try to put these videos out to help everyone else out. So tell us what's out there. We appreciate you guys watching. Please like, share, subscribe, you know, get the word out there, and we'll keep putting videos out for you guys. Thank you to all our viewers and our current subscribers. We really appreciate you guys watching. Thanks again. Awesome. Check out this lighting. I love this. I hope the camera picks it up, but it says Wagoneer across the floor here. And it comes out from underneath here. And it does that on both sides. The lighting on this vehicle is just killer. If you guys can see that. I wanted to share that with you guys.